Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Our topic today is, are Marines about to arrest some 60,000 U.S. leaders? I realize that may be hard to believe, but with the information I'm about to bring to you, I think there's a very real possibility of that. This is the audio of the video called Marines to Arrest 60,000 U.S. Leaders, posted on YouTube November 17th of 2018. I encourage you to also watch the video, not just listen to the audio, so you can see the pictures and actual executive orders and the evidence to help you make up your mind if this is true. Will EAS announce a national emergency and 61,000 arrests? This morning, 11/16 of 2018, I received an email sending me to this YouTube website. It basically says, which I'm about to play the audio of it here in just a moment, that U.S. troops are now in the process of being called up for a 72-hour U.S. deployment to be used inside the United States. It is saying that no one else has seen anything like this before. Now, before I explain, for those of you that may not have watched my first video discussing this, let me bring you up to date. On September 25th of 2018, I posted on YouTube/prophecyclub.com, our Prophecy Club channel, and the title of it was, EAS is National Emergency, 50K Arrests on October 3rd. And there's the web link to it. There's actually two lines, or you might say two strings of events that are about to take place. On the one side, it's good, and on the other side, opposing it is, of course, evil. They're both happening at the same time. I believe what's about to happen to America could be good. I say could. It may not be, but it could be good. Jeremiah 51 verse 9 says, we would have healed Babylon, that's speaking of America, but she is not healed. I believe that this is our opportunity to be healed, and we need to be praying, even though it says, but she is not healed. We still have to pray, brothers and sisters. We still have to repent. We still have to do everything we possibly can to at least soften and to delay this judgment coming, and perhaps even pray it away. I believe we're now in the great end-time battle of good versus evil, or Dems versus Republicans, or light versus darkness. As you recall the story of Elijah in the Bible, the prophets of Baal, 450 of them, were challenged. Who can bring fire down from the sky and to burn up their sacrifice? And the prophets of Baal called upon their God and couldn't get fire out of the sky. Later on that evening, when Elijah was able to pull fire to the sky, proving that his God is the real and one and true and living God, they killed the 450 prophets of Baal. They gave, or God gave, Israel a great deliverance. I believe that God is trying, heavy on the word trying, to bring that same deliverance to America today. You recall the story of Samson. He was blinded, put at the base of the temple of Dagon, the fish god. He pulled the overhead stones down and killed all the prophets of Dagon, delivering Israel in a great deliverance. Then in the story of Gideon broke the clay jars and revealed the light. God caused the army of the Midianites to fight each other and kill themselves once again, giving Israel a great deliverance. In my opinion, Donald Trump was given to America as a respite, which we'll explain in a moment, as a chance to extend our good days, hopefully to have 4 more years. So what is the plan? I call it the Elijah plan. I don't think it has a plan, at least not that the public knows about. But there is a plan to arrest pedophiles and corrupt individuals. And in my opinion, based upon the sources that I run across, this is the best I can piece together what the plan is. Reports say that this plan to take America back has been in the planning for over 10 years. Reportedly, a group of military intelligence officers and others made a plan to remove evil in high places from America in specific and from the world in general. The plan was to take back America from the top down, not a revolution from the bottom up. They recruited Donald Trump to run for president. In November 2017, Sessions hired Inspector General in Utah by the name of Huber. He recruited 470, quote, dogged investigators. Normally, at any one time, there's anywhere from 125 to 350 sealed indictments all across America. Now, a sealed indictment is a pending arrest warrant sealed from the public. It's usually sealed pending other co-conspirators' indictments. And these 470 dogged investigators began filing these indictments back in November of 2017, but kept keeping them sealed. Now, I heard about it when there's about 4,000 indictments, and I thought, 4,000 indictments? What are we doing with 4,000 indictments? So I began to investigate. Soon there was 10,000. Well, we expected the rest to take place soon. No arrests. 20,000. What's going on? Then I heard about Q, which is a wonderful source of information. Now, I do not believe that Q is the president, but I believe he is a trusted source to the White House. In my opinion, I believe that he can touch the president's desk any day. I think it's that close. He releases truth that Trump can't say directly, but you should also understand by going to qanon.pub, there is disinformation there, and he says openly that it is sometimes necessary. Obviously, they can't reveal all of their plans. Soon the indictments reached 30, 40,000, 50,000. Now it's up to some 61,000 sealed indictments, and many of these are congressmen. So in about a year, these 470 dogged investigators have filed about 61,000 sealed indictments. Was this hidden from the elite? No. Understand, they know what's going on. They just can't stop it. At least that's why Q says many times there's panic in D.C. Now let's talk about the prophecies. See, the thing that I can bring to this that maybe many others can't is I teach Bible prophecy. No one has given me an envelope under the door for this information. I'm just a pastor. I teach Bible prophecy. I do a radio program on Bible prophecy, but that gives me an edge because I know about Bible prophecy. And then I believe that Amos 3:7 says, surely the Lord God would do nothing except he revealeth his secret to his servants, the prophets, meaning God is still talking to a very small group of people today, and I put it together. It all has to be verified and based upon the Bible, but I listen to what God's modern prophets are saying and holy servants of God, as well as the Bible prophecies. Now, let's look at what they say in light of this, because if there's nothing from God about this, it doesn't make any difference what the newspapers say. God is not going to let anything happen till he's told his servants, the prophets, first. So let's see what they say. Pastor Massey, had him as a speaker for Prophecy Club, says the U.S. military will come in to help Trump to take control of the public. The public will go out of order. Oh, that's only one person. Let's keep reading. He also said that miracles are coming, and they're not going to be double portion miracles, but sevenfold miracles. Okay, that's one person. Then August 8th, 2015, sitting in this chair, behind this microphone, behind that particular monitor, I heard audible words. And they said, this is the time of miracles. What was downloaded to my heart is that the world's about to see miracles like we've never seen. Going all the way back to Adam, no one alive has ever seen miracles like we're about to hit. And this is going to hit. As judgment hits, means as bad times hit, so are the miracles. What he downloaded in my heart is God is going to show up to meet the devil. He's not going to leave us. He's not going to forsake us. He's going to meet the devil inch by inch, step by step, pound for pound. Everything he does, God is going to meet him. That's good news. Now, Sundar Alvarez said on July the 6th of 2018, 4 angels came to him. And he said that these 4 angels told him that no one on earth has ever seen miracles like what we're about to see. So, a couple more things. Terry Bennett, now this is back in 2010, said he had the angel Gabriel come to him over a span of 4 different days, tell him things are going on, and as the angel's telling him, he's also showing him visions of the future of these things that are coming on. He says what the United States is going to go through is civil conflict, civil war, then invasion. I saw in the governmental arena that we'll go through dramatic change in our government. Well, that kind of sounds like Trump, doesn't it? There would be a time of anarchy and chaos soon to come. For a while, we'll have a fractional government, which means basically our government will have to come down to the state level because the military, look at this carefully, the military stepping in and having to seize control of our federal government. Would you call 60,000 congressmen and senators and other top business leaders and corrupt individuals, would you call that the military having to come in and take control? I would. Military stepping in and having to seize control of the federal government, you'd call it a coup. Now, here's the good part. But in all honesty, it would be to help our nation. That's why the military will step in. Lawlessness, chaos was shown to be in civil unrest. Terry also says the angel Gabriel told him that America falls in 2021. Now, please quote me accurately. I am not saying that America falls in 2021 or 2020. Either one. I'm not saying that. I'm a watchman. I'm simply telling you what I have run across. Then Shane Warren spoke to us at the Prophecy Club back in 2012, made a DVD. You go to Prophecy Club and check it out. Search for Shane Warren. You can find it. It says the dollar is going to become worthless. He says, I saw God prospering greatly, many people acquiring things in a great wealth transfer coming to the hands of believers. Meaning there's good, but at the same time there's bad happening. Two things happen at the same time. He said silver will skyrocket and rise far more than gold. Now, we're not giving any financial advice here. He said the 400-year judgment cycle, and he said there is, and that America's judgment arrives in 2020. That's two people now. He said the devaluing of the dollar caused major rioting in the streets, looting with signs holding up saying, I want my entitlements. The body of Christ stood up, and people turned to the churches, and miracles returned to the church. As three people said that, and there's more people saying it. Just a second, hang on. Miracles returned to the church. I saw cities of refuge where God was protecting Christians, and revivals breaking out and taking place. Judgment brings revival to America. What's that, four people saying the same thing? In the mouth of two or three witnesses, let a thing be established. Maurice Sklar, prophet of God, also made a DVD with the Prophecy Club. All these guys, I've hugged their neck. I know them. These are not Johnny come crazy, okay? These are good, reliable prophets and holy servants of God. So Maurice Sklar says the American dollar is about to lose 30% more of its present value. This will be the second drop since the previous 2008 drop of 20%. He said the dollar will then be worth half of what it was before September 2008. This dollar will cause great economic distress in our nation. The church will be shaken. Look, and many will wake up spiritually and cry out to me. There will also be looting. Again, two things happening at once. A lot of good and a lot of bad, okay? There will also be looting, rioting, and terrorism in our land. A great revival will begin. God has hidden his holy apostles and prophets for this present hour. There will be great outpourings of supernatural provision, miracles, and healing in various places. These areas will become cities of refuge and places of refuge for the Christian, for the God's people. Now, what we're saying here, see, I'm trying to bring you the good news before I bring you the bad news. And there's some bad news here in just a second. What I'm saying here is, as this happens, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and his name is Yeshua Jesus, the Christ Messiah, is going to be there. He's going to match the work of the devil, match the work of the Antichrist, the false prophet, step by step, inch by inch, pound by pound, everything they do. God is not going to leave us nor forsake us. So here comes part of the bad news. If you look at the date, December 21, 2017, what you're looking at is an executive order. You can pull it off the internet yourself. It's blocking the property of persons involved in serious human rights abuse and or corruption. That's what they're going after. They're going after serious human rights, what we would say is sex trafficking, okay? If you'll notice in the orange in the very center, he says, I declare a national emergency. I want you to see that first. So he goes on to say, the United States seeks to impose tangible and significant consequences on those who commit serious human rights abuse, pedophilia, sex trafficking is what he's saying, or engage in corruption, Hillary Clinton, etc., as well as to protect the financial system of the United States from abuse by these persons. He goes on to say, in the third sentence there, I hereby declare a national emergency to deal with the threat. Okay, so why haven't we been told there's a national emergency? It's because we have to be served, and I'm going to explain that here in just a second. He goes on to say, now let's skip to the right side, and he says, in the yellow there, I hereby declare a national emergency to deal with that threat. You skip on down, and it says the Secretary of Defense, in consultation with the Secretary of Homeland Security, will issue non-binding guidance regarding factors that commandeers, convening authorities, staff judge, and it lists them all out. And it lists also many, like DOJ, CIA, FBI, many of the people that are corrupt in these high positions, they're about to be introduced to handcuffs, is what it's saying. It goes on to say this document specifically outlines crimes of sex trafficking, corruption. It says the executive order includes any foreign person determined by the Secretary of Treasury in consultation with the Secretary of State and the Attorney General to be, by the way, you see, that's the reason they had to get a new Attorney General to get somebody in there that would do this. Current or former government official or a person acting on or behalf of such official who is responsible for the complicit in or has directly and indirectly engaged in corruption, including, it goes on to list, you can read it. Now, if you read the bottom again, he says, I here declare a national emergency. Well, we haven't heard about a national emergency, but we're about to. I'll show you. In this article, this comes March 31, 2018, and if you look at the right side, it says that Turley says that actually what was done was an amazingly brilliant thing. They have been able to combine the powers of the U.S. Government Justice Inspector General with the prosecutor, and they're saying that they plan to prosecute these people, and they're not getting away with a thing whether they're in government or whether they're not in government. If you look at the third paragraph down, it says Huber has been investigating these possible crimes for 5 months. Now, they actually started investigating this November 13th. Well, that's about a year ago, isn't it? Maybe that's explaining why they have 61,000 sealed indictments. It goes on to say, skip down to the middle, he says, I think people are missing what could be a brilliant move here by Sessions. What he did was essentially combine the powers of the Inspector General with the powers of the line prosecutor. If you skip to the bottom, it says that they have 470 dogged investigators preparing for these arrests. What are they going to do with them? Here's the answer. Headline, U.S. private prison program rebooted by Trump administration. Jeff Sessions gave the order to revive the Justice Department's use of for-profit prisons. And it talks about how that they have been upgrading and fixing and repairing and expanding prisons. On the right side headline, when it comes to Gitmo, Trump is truly the builder-in-chief, because what they've been doing is spending millions of dollars upgrading and expanding Gitmo, the Atoll Islands, and also Diego Garcia, which I'm about to show you, which are prison islands. In other words, they're preparing to get these people off of U.S. soil so they are not going to be able to be tried in a civil court. They're not going to be able to bond out within 24 hours. Let's go on. Now, here's another, I think this is interesting because this was signed by President Obama, but he didn't understand what he was doing. It says assignment of national security and emergency preparedness communications functions. What it actually does is give, in an emergency, give absolute control over all U.S. media. Now, if Trump has absolute control of all U.S. media, CNN, ABC, NBC, CBS, what do you think he's going to do? He's going to sweep it clean, hopefully. Executive Order 13825, March 1, 2018, 465 pages long. We're not going to read all of them here today, but it is essentially saying that anybody that is committing illegal sex acts or corruption, oh, look at this, can be tried by the Uniform Code of Military Justice. What's that? That's a military tribunal. In other words, they're not planning another O.J. Simpson show trial. They're not planning these civil trials where judges have been bought off and could be bought off. Instead, this is military justice. We're going to talk about that in a second. It says, and this is my opinion of it, it appears to me that President Trump has signed an executive order giving him permission to try people under the UCMJ, which would be required if his plans are to arrest these now 60,000 corrupt people and take them to Gitmo, Diego Garcia, and Atoll Prison Islands for trial by military tribunals. It appears to me that this executive order gives them permission to prosecute all offenses of the law, past and future, that are against the law prior to the executive order. So let's go on. Executive Order 13825 says, this document establishes the government's right to prosecute crimes of sex trafficking, corruption against Americans, and military tribunals under existing executive law. Let's move on. Now, you have to understand this was given to us back in 1984. And I met this man. I had him in my home several times. I went to his home. His name is Dimitri Duduman. And in my opinion, and in the opinion of many people, most people that ever heard him, believe that he is the greatest prophet to ever walk the soil of America. Dimitri Duduman is his name. To tell you briefly his story, he's a Romanian pastor, smuggled Bibles into Romania and Russia for some 30 years. He was arrested. They put him through 5 months of torture, putting him on the electric chair. As the electricity is going through him, he's jumping around on this electric chair. Electricity is going all through him. Whole room lit up with white light. Out of the white light, the angel Gabriel appeared. Said, "You're not going to die. You're going to America to give them a warning from God." That was 1980. He arrived in America in 1984. The angel came to him again and said this: "The fall of America will start with an internal revolution, started by the communists. Some of the people will start fighting against the government. The government will be busy with internal problems. Then from the oceans, Russia, Cuba, Nicaragua, Central America, Mexico, and 2 of the countries you couldn't remember will attack. The Russians will bombard the nuclear missiles in America, and America will burn." Now, picture in the top left corner is a picture of him talking, and the left shoulder you see off to the left side is my shoulder. I was introducing him. Bottom right corner is a copy of that DVD. If you're watching this, you're probably a watchman. If you're a watchman, you've been called to warn other people. There's a time when people are going to start coming to you, when these things start coming to pass, and they're going to start saying, "All right, you have my attention. I'm ready to listen now." So at that time, you need to have had yourself informed. I recommend you get this DVD. I also recommend you get the rest of the items here, which we'll cover in just a second. The rest of his warning is God will raise up China, Japan, and many other nations. They'll go against the Russians. They'll defeat the Russians. They'll back the Russians at the gates of Paris where they sign a peace treaty. But they make the Russians their leader. Then under the leadership of the Russians, all the world goes down to attack little Israel. Israel can't count on the help of the Jews in America, so she cries for Messiah. Messiah returns in the clouds and defeats the armies of the earth. Now, there's more there, but again, here's what you want to do. We put together these 3 things. We call it the Wake Up America package, but this is for watchmen. You get me teaching American Bible prophecy, 193 scriptures through the Bible to show you where America is in the Bible. Also, the top right corner, Wake Up America, this is Dimitri himself. And even he said this was the very best recording of his testimony it was ever given. And there it is. Bottom right corner is a book that I actually organized. It's Dimitri Duduma's testimony, all of his dreams and visions, his grandson Michael Boldea, as well as My Wife, a Prophet, that has some very powerful information about the fall of America. So, let's get to the arrests. The arrest of over 60,000 people for pedophilia, sex trafficking, and corruption, which will be our, in my opinion, Gideon, Samson, and Elijah deliverance from evil. If, I don't like that word if, but we got to put it in there and I'll explain why. If President Trump can do it before leaving office. The ES message will most likely start the arrest. I'll explain. The arrest will take place probably in less than 48 hours. The plan is that they will be taken to upgraded prison facilities in Guantanamo Bay, Diego Garcia, and the Atoll Islands prison facilities. They'll be tried in military tribunals. Will probably take less than 3 months to try all 60,000 of them. This is going to cause part of the prophecy to come to pass. Some of the people will start fighting against the government. Let me back up. The first part of this, the fall of America, will start with an internal revolution in America. In my opinion, that started with the election of Donald Trump. I've never seen so many people so angry at each other in America. In our hearts, the heart of Americans, be it the right or the left, they're angry at each other like I've never seen. Started by the communists. In my opinion, that's CNN, ABC, CBS, NBC, New York Times, and others that are stirring up trouble and hate and anger in the hearts of Americans. However, some of the people will start fighting against the government, I believe, starts right here with the 60,000 people roundup. I believe this is going to cause some of the people, as you look the third line from the bottom, some of the people will start fighting against the government. Riots with up to 400 people in 90 U.S. cities organized by the Dems will probably start. America may fall in as little as 2020 or 2021. Let me say again, I'm not setting a date. That's what's going to happen. All right, now let's talk about the EAS's service. If you're a law enforcement officer and you go before a judge and you want a search warrant or an arrest warrant, okay, fine. Say the judge gives you the papers. Well, it's kind of where the executive order is right now with Donald Trump. Okay, he's written up the executive order, but you have to serve that arrest warrant or serve that search warrant. And you do that by knocking on the door, ringing the doorbell, and handing them the papers. So the people have to be served. And my opinion, and I think I may be the first one to recognize this, the EAS message would be the perfect plan. So, will judgment hit October 3rd and sevenfold miracles follow? That was posted by me September 25th of 2018. I think everything on that video was right on. I still stand behind it. I believe it was just delayed. Why? Because of the Kavanaugh confirmation. I believe it's still coming, possibly this year. And what I'm about to tell you, possibly even in the month of November. Yes, we'll get to that. So is it the 8th day? The question is, why do you think that it would be October 3rd? I still think that we stepped over a line in the Spirit on October 3rd. And I think that October 3rd date was probably because it's the 8th day of Tabernacles, which means a new beginning. I think this is our chance for a new beginning. All cell phones in America by default, coming from the manufacturer, are all set to receive an EAS message, and you cannot opt out of the message. The cell phone companies sent out an update the day before. When the cell phone was updated, it changed the default setting on the phone from default to OK to receive the EAS message. The EAS message means the Emergency Alert System message, and it's supposed to be impossible to stop it. It's supposed to go to all cell phones in America. What a wonderful way for the president to give service to the nation. Where, as this update changed the default from the off position where you can't opt out of it, now it changed it so that you have to change the settings on your phone to be able to receive it. It automatically turned it off. It changed the default setting from automatically on, can't opt out, to automatically off. You have to set it to receive it. Now, I got a question. If the EAS message that came out to us October 3rd, if it was only going to be a test, why would all the cell phone companies send out an update turning off the EAS message? Why would they do that? Why would they go to so much trouble unless they knew the real plan was that EAS message was not going to say test, it was going to say national emergency and begin the arrest of these pedophiles and corrupt people. So if it wasn't going to be a test, if it was going to announce a national emergency and start the arrest, I believe it really was. But because Kavanaugh was not confirmed being a major requirement to move forward, they delayed the EAS message, but it's still coming. So what I do recommend that you do, it's the Wake Up America gift offer, the DVD of Dimitri giving his testimony, and then Prophecies of the Fall of America book, all of his testimony, dreams, and visions, all written out. And then I do 193 scriptures teaching through America and Bible prophecy. 2 DVDs and a book valued at $75, available at prophecyclub.com for $35. I also recommend you get Catastrophe, Meteor, Tsunami, and Earthquake. That's talking about Ephraim Rodriguez's vision of a meteor hitting the earth and splitting America. Also, Meteor, the Destruction of America. That's 2 DVDs, both normally $30. Both of them now at prophecyclub.com for a gift of $30. You can get both of them. You can get all of that. You can watch all of the DVDs at watchprophecyclub.com instantly. $20 a month, $200 a year. But I do recommend you get the discs because, as you know, there's going to be a day you're not going to be able to have access to the internet. So the best thing would be to go to prophecyclub.com. You want to order the Wake Up America gift offer. I'll say it again, the Wake Up America gift offer and the Meteor gift offer. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your prayers, and thank you for your gifts of support. God bless.